You're watching the Batter Fans Network.
Welcome, everybody, to episode number 61 of the Battle Heat Fans podcast. I am your host, Daniel Granada, and the Heat stand pat. The Heat do nothing at the trade deadline. There were talks about John Morant. There were talks about Giannis. There were talks about moving, I don't know, Tyler Hero. Like so many things. And it feels like every year it's the same thing. It's the same story. The Heat and it's not even the Heat. The Heat aren't the ones saying these things. The reports are out there. The Heat fans are speculating because they're like, no, there has to be something down the pipeline. Something has to change because we don't have enough. But because Pat wants to win rings, because the Miami Heat are all about winning, they will figure something out. They will make a move, and they never do. And it's kind of frustrating because, and I wish Solana was on here to talk. Solana couldn't make it today. Solana said that he wants to kind of take a deep dive as to the conspiracy because he feels it's a conspiracy that people don't want to trade with the Heat. Um, I disagree. I think that the Heat and Pat Riley are they're good businessmen to an extent because they refuse to lose a trade, right? They're not going to give up too much. Like, no, no, no. You're going to do this on my terms. I'm not going to give you too much. This is going to be a fair deal both ways. But you've seen those trades in the past where a player, hell, even as much as I hate them, the New York Knicks, for example, when they got Mikal Bridges, which I still don't understand why they wanted Mikal Bridges so bad, but they got Mikal Bridges and they gave up like 5 first-round picks for him. It was something that the Brooklyn Nets could not turn down. Like there are sometimes when you want to go all in, you go all in, and the Heat refuse to go all in, and I get it, right? That's why the Heat are the Heat. But at some point, like the fan base wants you to just go, you know what, F it, go get the guy by any means, and then let's figure it out. If you get Giannis, even if you don't win a title this year, you have Giannis on the roster, and then during the summer, you figure out how to build the pieces around them. Even if you have to give up Ware, Kasparis, Jaime, Pell, and a bunch of picks, you're like, all right, but you know what? We'll retool during the summer, and then we'll get to it next year. And you know what? And I'm not gonna lie, I don't know if it came out there what the best offer was that he gave up. Um, so I'm not sure what the best offer was, but it's unfortunate because I feel like this is a tale as old as time. I feel like every year you just feel like they're going to do something and they don't. Last summer, apparently, right? I don't know if it's been confirmed or denied, but the Heat didn't go get Kevin Durant because they didn't want to give up Khalil Ware. Khalil Ware, the guy that Spo is playing 3 minutes at a time. Like it's at some point the fan base is gonna be like, you know what? We get this whole heat culture crap, but just go get us somebody. Get us that guy because that guy is what we're missing. And it's just very frustrating that they haven't gone and done that. And another lost opportunity because I felt like Giannis was to be had this off season. The Golden State Warriors weren't going after him. Nobody else really had anything. And I don't know if the Heat feel like they have enough to compete. Like they can't, right? The way the season has gone, there's 2 games over 500, and we're what 52 games. There's only 30 games left. The Heat can't really think that they have enough to be a contender this year. Like they had to have tried to do something because they are the only team in the Eastern Conference, the only team in the Eastern Conference that made zero moves. No players going out, no players coming in, nothing. They're the only team in the Eastern Conference that made no moves, and only 2 teams in the Western Conference didn't make any moves. Those two teams in the West, the San Antonio Spurs and the Houston Rockets. Those teams are set. They're going to compete. They got a squad. So that means there's 3 teams in the entire NBA that didn't make any moves. No players going out, no players coming in. And I get San Antonio and the Rockets, but the Heat? Do we really feel comfortable with the team we have right now? So I'm surprised. I really expected something to happen. I expected some type of help. Um, and if for some reason you feel like you can't compete, I felt like, okay, so we can't do anything. Let's move some pieces around. Let's get some draft capital, like something. But it's just very surprising the way that this trade deadline came and went. And maybe I shouldn't have been that surprised, because I feel like this is what we've come to expect, right? A big name says they want to come to Miami, or a big name is expected to come to Miami. Miami's the front runner. Miami doesn't close the deal. What was the last time they closed the deal on a big signing? Let's go back as far as 2003 when they drafted Dwayne Wade. After Dwayne Wade, Shaq said he wanted to go to Miami, and they traded him. They went all in on that trade. That's great. But Shaq specifically said he wanted to come to Miami. So there weren't many other options for the Lakers, and the Heat did a pretty good job sending a bunch of stuff over there, right? They sent Caron Butler, Lamar Odom, a bunch of stuff. That was the last time that I felt like they went all in. And again, I felt like Shaq kind of forced the hand, because he said he wanted to come to Miami to play with Dwayne Wade. But that was the last time I remember them doing something like that. With LeBron made that decision, right? Like, I don't think that was Pat Riley or the front office. LeBron decided that he wanted to do that. Yeah, the Heat cleared up the space, the cap space and the roster to kind of have the room to bring him in. But that was LeBron's decision. That wasn't Pat Riley's the Godfather, and he came and he gave him an offer he couldn't refuse. And no, that was Dwayne Wade and LeBron that decided that they wanted to do that. After that, what big name have they brought in? After that, like during that run, right, players wanted to come play with the big three. All right, there wasn't any huge moves by the Heat that I can think of off the top of my head. Since then, they gave Tyler Johnson like $50 million. They gave Hassan Whiteside a bunch of money. They got Jimmy Butler. That's great. But Jimmy Butler wasn't the big whale that offseason, right? It was Kevin Durant, which the Heat were courting and they couldn't get him. Kyrie Irving. So they weren't able to get them either, right? And they tried to get Kevin Durant a couple times. Like, at what point did the Godfather go in and sit on the table and lay his rings out, like everybody always says, and kind of convince somebody to come over here, or go to another front office and say, hey, I want this guy and I'm going to get him? Like, I don't remember the last time he's done anything like that. If you want to say the Shaq trade, okay, I guess. But Shaq said he wanted to come to Miami, so it made it a little easier for Miami to make it happen. Even though Dame Lillard said he wanted to come to Miami, and look, that didn't. It's just, man, so many times that it's happened, and it's unfortunate that he just hasn't been able to pull the trigger. But with that said, it's unfortunate. And another deadline comes and goes, and nothing is done. And the Miami Heat fans are left scratching their heads. At some point, they're going to lose faith that this team is ever going to go all in. With that said, maybe they do it in the offseason, right? Let's be silly and then keep the hope alive, and that maybe that they'll in the offseason that they'll do something. Giannis is probably going to get traded in the offseason, and we'll go over this all over again. But the thing about the offseason is that you're going to have other teams involved in the offseason trying to get Giannis. So we'll see. I think that's it. I just wanted to voice the frustration of another trade deadline that comes and goes. Somehow, only team in the Eastern Conference that made 0 moves, or only one of 3 teams in the entire NBA didn't make any moves, and the Heat stand pat. And now we have the roster that we have. I don't think anybody sees this roster and thinks that they're an NBA championship contender. At the moment, they keep fighting for the play-in. I know that in the next 10 games or so, I said they have a soft schedule, so maybe they'll start looking better just because of the soft schedule. But it is frustrating to see that this is what's happening, and well, it is what it is at this point. I think we've come to expect it. All right, if you're listening on audio, appreciate you listening to the end. Please 5 stars and a comment. If you're watching on YouTube, like and subscribe. And and then Solana just joined here last minute. So Solana, real quick before I end this this Heat run, I just did 9 minutes of just ranting. In a minute, your thoughts on the trade deadline?
My apologies for being late. My internet wasn't working, but I'm heated, man. I'm heated, and not like the fans on social media that are heated at Pat Riley. I'm not mad at Pat Riley. The reports came out. Pat Riley offered everything but Bam Adebayo. At this point, we have to open a conspiracy theory study or some sort of investigation on the rest of the NBA teams, because nobody wants to trade with me. We tried with Dame Lillard. Antetokounmpo. We've tried with Kevin Durant. Obviously, we know that Pat Riley didn't want to give up Khalil Ware for Kevin Durant, but the Heat offered everything. And these guys just didn't want to trade. All they did was annoy people, excite people, and basically do everything possible to make people think it was going to happen. And then they had no intention of doing it. So I'm heated, man.
Just real quick before we end this, you said that they offered everything. Do you know what they offered? Because
Everything
I haven't
but
heard
Bam.
exactly.
And they offered different packages that offered everything except for Bam Adebayo.
I don't know, man. I feel like the Heat are sometimes stubborn and they don't want to lose a trade. Is how I feel.
Yeah, but these guys wanted 5 or 6 first round picks. That's ridiculous, man. I understand Giannis.
But if you want to go all in, dude,
but 6 picks. Come on, man.
Who cares? Who cares? That's for a player like Giannis, dude. Mikal Bridges, the Knicks are idiots for doing it, but Mikal Bridges went for 5 first round picks. Like, if you want to go all in, you go all in.
Michael Bridges or Mikal Bridges or whatever you want to call him. He's not worth 2 first round picks.
He's not worth 1, and he got 5. So when the Bucks see that, how are they not going to ask for 5 for Giannis? But whatever. We can continue this tomorrow when we're talking about the post after the post game for I forgot who. The Boston Celtics tonight. I'm so frustrated that I don't even want to like. Hopefully we win, because if not, I'm not even going to talk about that fucking game. We can just continue this conversation because I'm going to be pissed if we lose to Boston tonight after not doing shit. You know, the Heat are one team in the whole Eastern Conference that didn't do anything. 3 teams in the entire NBA didn't do anything.
Yeah, and there's a conspiracy against the Heat. I'm telling you.
I don't think so. Look, they got Norman Powell for pennies. There's no conspiracy. It's just that the Heat are stubborn, man. I'm telling you. All right. If you're listening on audio, appreciate you. If you're watching on YouTube, like and subscribe. And we'll be back tomorrow morning talking about hopefully beating the Celtics and making us feel a little better. But until the next one, have a good one.